WCLN 1170 Radio and Cable Channel 16 are pleased to present We Should Know, hosted by J.W. Simmons, an upbeat, informative look at people, places, and issues facing our community. This education-based analysis of issues will remain positive and informative as we consider closely what we should know.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know is on there. I want to thank you for being with us today. We're coming to you from Star Communications Channel 16, WCLN Radio, with a summation in the Sampson Weekly newspaper each and every week at 2:30. Now you can also catch us at 7 p.m. Tuesday and Thursday evenings. Just Channel 16 will be there at 7 p.m. and it'll cover the show we had on Tuesday and give you a repeat on Thursday in case you miss it. You don't really need to set your DVR. You're going to get 3 times at it, so hopefully you'll catch it one of those times. We appreciate your comments from last week's show. We appreciate your comments in that oftentimes you give us suggestions about shows you would like to see us have, more information, more content, more depth of discussion. One of those shows today I think hits that point on a number of issues. We have with us Ray Jordan, who's the Executive Director of the Agri-Exposition Center. I think, is that still your title, Ray?
That is.
And we've got Darrell Jones. Darrell has been an avid committee member of the Live After 5 committee here for what, 3 or 4 years, Darrell?
More like 6 or 7.
It seems to. I mean, it goes fast. I was looking, by the way, guys, I was looking at the 10th annual event according to what the document said, and I had to scratch my head. Is it just me, or is time just slipping away here?
Yeah, it's going by mighty fast. JD, thanks for having us on the show today. We appreciate being here, and it's hard to believe that 10 years has gone by with a Live After 5, and but it's been a good ride, and we've had a lot of great sponsors.
Absolutely. First question I think would be kind of an obvious one. Give us an idea, Ray, from where you sit. You're kind of in the background, always orchestrating some of these things. What has been the key successes of this show for 10 years? Well,
there's 2 main keys to it. The one and foremost is all of our sponsors that sponsor the Live After 5. You know, over the past 9 seasons, we've averaged about 110 sponsors each year. And so, you know, it could not be possible without their support and their faith in what the series brings to the community. And secondly, and equally as important, is the committee. The committee has been it cannot be done without them. And their worth, I cannot even explain to you how much value it brings to the community, and the time and the energy that all those folks put forth in presenting the season.
Darrell, you're a committee member and again came on 3 or 4 years ago. So when you look at that and your experience with this, kind of give folks a sense of what they're missing in case they haven't been.
Well, it's a tremendous opportunity to just get involved in the community itself, and people come out and make visits. We have people coming out at 5 o'clock and the show doesn't start till 6 o'clock. They're socializing, they're enjoying themselves. They have an opportunity to see some of our vendors there, you know, whether it be the funnel cakes or Southern Smokes pork barbecue sandwiches. But it's a tremendous opportunity for everybody to get together. It's a free event, and for people to come out and just socialize, and particularly for the kids. So there's a lot of kids that get out there and dance, and a lot of our seniors get out there and they do the dance right in front of the stage. They shag a little bit, or whatever dance they want to do, line dancing. So it's a really good opportunity for everybody to come out to see some old friends and to make some new friends and to have a really, really good evening of good music.
And I think Darrell's, Ray, I think Darrell's got a good feel for that, because he gets up there and does a lot of announcing. He looks at the crowd. He sees the people there from the advantage of looking at the stage. Having said that, some of the folks that you get to come out to perform, from what I've heard, look forward to coming back.
Oh yeah. That's another good thing about our series, and I'm sure this is other places, but you know, we over the past 9 years we've presented 46 concerts, and in speaking with artists that we either bring back or even talk with new artists, because those artists talk among themselves, and we always have a real positive feedback from the experience that they receive from our committee and from being here and the people they work with while they're setting up and breaking down. But then again, all the audience participation. That's you know, a lot of times bands really like performing here.
Yeah, one of the things that strikes me, Ray, when I look at not only this event, but a lot of the stuff that is done at the Civic Center, it has a huge impact economically on the city of Clinton. How do you kind of get that messaged out that that's one of the critical parts of this? Because as Darrell just said, I mean, obviously there's a lot of very good entertainment. People get together, there's collaboration, it's a community feeling about it, but there's also an economic, there's a dollar value to that. How do you weigh that?
Well, exactly. I mean, just if you look at it on the surface of the series itself, the series generally costs around just a hair over $100,000 to present. All right, that's cash donations in kind, and that's what allows us to produce it. But the greater economic impact is those folks that come into the community from outside the county, or that may be in the municipalities outside that are actually coming in to participate. Hitting the restaurants after. There's a lot of the restaurants in town will have some after hours events after the concert's over. They may have a band or something as an after party. So you get that. But I think to your point, taking a step further with the Expo Center, if you add that to it, and the events that are held there, the economic turnover from it, there's things people don't mind paying for. Eating and having fun's one of them. So people come out, they have a great time, but the turnover of the dollars in the community is a lot. I mean, you think about for the series itself, we raise the money and people are donating it, but then we're turning around and buying an insurance policy from a local insurance company. There's on and on with things that we have to do where we're renting equipment or whatever it may be, and it's supporting the local economy. So it does become an economic engine in itself. Now, you can say, well, that's not huge, but every dollar you turn over has a multiplier effect. And
one of the things I've heard you talk about before as it relates to the Exhibition Center is there was this sense at one time that it needed to be self-supporting. Is that something that is self-supporting through and by a lot of the generation of cash flow dollars, not necessarily just somebody paying rent and covering a light bill? Well,
and two, there's a lot of communities that would love to have what we have in the Sampson County Expo Center. There's communities that are double our size that do not have adequate meeting space for their existing industry, their business, their community, and their civic organizations that would just be thrilled, to have a spot like we have. The Expo Center is funded through revenue, and we're funded through county support. And but the one thing, and I've shared this with you before, our average event is average type event is a banquet. The average attendance over a year period for banquets averages about 320 to 50 in that range. But the economic impact, if you take the rent out of it, is roughly $17,000 to produce that. And that's hiring waitresses, that's hiring decorators, that's hiring, I'm not getting too deep in the weeds on it, but the economic impact and the money that's derived from those events that occur there has significant impact within the community.
Jobs.
It creates jobs.
Darrell, I know, again, you've been on the committee for some time for the Live After 5 event. What kind of things are you hearing in the community from friends and others about this event? And we talked a little bit about the success of it and the 10th year coming up. Are those things that you would see as positive or things that need to be changed? It's labor intensive. I know I've seen you hauling stuff before and after the event, so it's not something you just go and have fun. You end up working more than you do anything else.
Yeah, the impact that we have on the community is really good, because I hear a lot of people comment. They come up to me and say they really like the band, they appreciate it, and it's not just identifying with one age group or one specific genre. It's identifying with everybody, because the committee gets together and we try to identify the different bands that we feel like would fill the needs of everybody. So whether it's country, whether it's beach, whether it's soul, we try to get everybody involved. We want everybody to come out. And I think we've done quite a good job so far identifying these groups. We can't please everybody, we know that, but for the most part, it's been a very, very positive comments been given to me, and I know as well as some other committee members as to the different bands that are selected and that perform during these events.
I think he made a good point on you can't please everybody, because Ray, you've about tried to do that in the past and it didn't work out well, did it?
No, we've presented some events that were could have had better attendance.
Yeah, and I think some of those came through the Arts Council, the opportunities through the Arts Council, of which you're involved in as well.
That's great. Well, one of the things that, for in any community, you try to have diverse entertainment opportunities, and we've been fortunate. We've been able to receive some grant opportunities to present some events either through the Arts Council as part of Alive After 5 or through the Arts Council, and but the whole idea behind that, is introducing different culture, different entertainment options, and different ways to think about something. It creates thought and perception and conversation.
And I think it's one of the things with the Arts Council that I've noticed folks would say a lot, whether it's visual arts, or whether it's musical, whether it's crafts, whatever it may be, it does cause you to kind of traverse that ground that you maybe hadn't really thought about before, or give a kind of a new flavor to the menu, should I say. So Darrell, I think as I look at the committee and what you and others do on that committee, it becomes critically important not only for Ray, but folks to understand that this is a volunteer effort. I don't think, unless I'm missing something, anybody's paying all those committee members. But without you, I look at Ray or you, either one. This thing's not going to happen, is it?
That's true. It is totally volunteer, and while we're on the volunteer subject, we need more volunteers to come out and participate with our committee. It's rewarding to me, and it's rewarding to some of the other committee members as well. But I would encourage anybody with these corporations or these local businesses that has an employee that they could send out to the committee. And we meet several times a year, and we're going to have 5 bands this year, 5 events. And so we need people that's going to be willing to come out, help set up, help tear down. And it doesn't take long. It doesn't take long. But thank goodness for the sponsors. We always say it's a free event. It's not. If we didn't have the sponsors, this event would not happen, and the sponsors have been tremendous. I've been totally impressed with our sponsors over the past years.
We'll talk about that in a moment when we come back. We'll take a quick break. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us. We're talking about Live After 5, other events in Clinton with Ray Jordan and Darrell Jones. Stay tuned.
Experiencing slow internet? If you have a fast internet package, the problem is most likely your wireless router. With more devices using Wi-Fi, your wireless router may not be able to deliver the speed and coverage you need. We now have the leading solution to enhance your internet experience. Using small devices in a mesh network, these Wi-Fi appliances cover just about any size home so that all your devices can operate to their fullest potential. Whole home Wi-Fi from Star Communications. Get the most out of your internet connection.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We Should Know is on the air. Again, I want to remind you, weshouldknow.edu@gmail.com. That's weshouldknow.edu@gmail.com. That's the email address. Send us your comments, send us your suggestions about shows. Let us know what you think, what you would like to see aired, what information you would like to see a bit more in-depth review of, and we'll certainly try to find the folks that know about that and let them tell you directly the information you're looking for. Also, you can drop us a postcard or a piece of mail, whatever, to Post Office Box 1482, Clinton, North Carolina. That's We Should Know, Post Office Box 1482, Clinton, North Carolina. We're talking about having fun, and we're talking with Ray Jordan and Darrell Jones. Ray, your name kind of comes up a lot with fun. But there's got to be a job. There's got to be a job behind this fun somewhere. What's the kinds? And Darrell opened this discussion before we went to break. What's the kinds of things that you need help with, as it relates to Alive After 5, or even the Arts Council, or some of the other things you're involved in?
Well, and JW, and you've been involved in community activities for a long time, and the one thing you always need, you need committee members that are committed to the cause. Number one, you got to have skin in the game. But what we look for specifically the Live After 5 committee is that we have, as Darrell said, we have few meetings. We don't meet overly, but we do need folks that can come in and help us as we evaluate bands and think about artists to present as part of the season. Probably another thing is with the day of events, we need manpower to help with various activities, whether it be setting up tents, breaking down, helping with stage setup, those type of things. Putting out posters, helping us advertise and spread the word. But probably the key and most critical thing is for our committee is the fundraising activity of it. Now, when you talk about fundraising, that's not for everybody. But you know what, JW? The worst somebody can tell you, no. And you can't take it personal. Business is business. And but when you go out and you explain to a potential sponsor what the series is about, who's benefiting from it, and it's got a proven success track, a proven track record. And so, it makes it somewhat easier when you're coming off of successes, and because people want to be a part of it. But then you take it a step further, where you're presenting the contribution of these donors are allowing this to be presented for our community free of charge to anyone can come out, and then it attracts people from all over. But those are the primary key areas that we call on our volunteers and our committee members to help us with. And like I said, primarily, if I had to say that the most emphasis is placed on the fundraising aspect. We all have fun. We get together, have our meetings, and we talk, and we'll hash things out, and we're all working as a unit to try to increase and improve the quality of life in the county, and do things that will attract visitors to our community.
Darrell, back staying focused on the participants as far as committee is concerned, and when you mentioned this, it struck me, your experience so far over 3 or 4 years, and you stepped up and became a part of this. What would you say the most, if there is a demanding piece of it, that a person should expect to be involved in? Ray just alluded to trying to get sponsors and that kind of thing, but for some people that's just a natural thing. In fact, some of the sponsors I think would do that anyway, but are there other things you can think of that a potential committee person should look at and consider? One of the things that strikes me, and I was just listening to Ray, is that it's actually good for their business.
Oh yeah.
Or whatever they're involved in, whether it's a company,
Well, if we go back and think about the committee, let's talk about the one part we haven't talked about is the sponsors. It's so last season, I think, if I recall, there were 109 sponsors last season, and as we're entering the 10th anniversary season, there are 28 businesses that have been a sponsor every year, continuously. And then if you go add into the second year it began, you add another 16 or 18. So if you go back and really look for about a 5-year span, we've got sponsors. A huge number of those sponsors are long-term sponsors, and so these folks would not be writing these checks if they didn't believe in what we're doing and see the value for our community.
So Darrell, back to you again. Then as you go out and speak to some of these people, or you call them or go by, is it a hard sell, or they just say, "Where do I sign?"
Well, a lot of times you just deliver it, say, "I'll send you the check. I'll be glad to support you again this year." Some of them want to know what's going on, how's it going to benefit the community. And my first response is, well, this committee, these events are not just for the people of Clinton, the citizens of Clinton. It is for the citizens of Clinton and Sampson County. So we encourage everyone in the county to come out. That's one message that I think gets to our local businesses, that it is for the entire county, and their sponsorship can go a long ways throughout the county. In fact, when I've gotten up on the stage to announce these sponsors and show our appreciation to them, I tell people, I said, call these people, or if you know somebody that works there, tell them how much we appreciate you sponsoring this event, because it's a great event.
Absolutely. And I noticed another thing when you were announcing those too. As you're announcing them, I'll look over at the areas that some of the sponsors are set up because they're vendors, and you'll see people applauding when you mention that name. So they get an instant kind of feedback that you've got, 1,200, 2,000 people there, that it's immediate response to your announcement.
In fact, I've even had, after I've gotten off the stage, I've gone by the sponsor tents, and they will pull me to the side and say, "Thank you for identifying with us tonight." That, letting the people know that we are a sponsor, and it's happened more than once. So it's when it comes down to it, it's an easy sell because it's a tremendous impact on the community and the county. And if the vendors, or not the vendors, but the sponsors would think about it as to what kind of impression it would give to our citizens.
And to visitors.
And to the visitors. We've had people come from Beulahville, Jacksonville, Goldsboro, because they've heard how good it is, and they're going on our website and seeing what's happening. And they follow us. I don't know, maybe Ray can allude to how many people have gone in and looked at the website. But it's an easy sell for our sponsors, simply because of the impact that it has on the citizens and the visitors of Sampson County and Clinton.
Let's segue to that website right quick. I'm glad Darrell mentioned that, because I think that's key. A lot of folks now living by. In fact, we were just talking before we came on air, Darrell and I were talking about this idea that we've become so consistently dependent on technology, but literally the website itself, and we were talking about this the other day, it's well done. You can find everything on there that we're talking about today, right. But some of the additional things, even phone numbers or what have you is on there in case they want to talk with you. Or
well, the first thing, let's just give everybody how to find it.
Let's do that.
So if you visit, if you go online, it's aliveafter5clintonnc.com.
Okay.
That's aliveafter5clintonnc.com. It's a long email, spell everything out. We tried to get a shorter one when we first tried, but there were a lot of Alive After 5s out there, so we had to identify a little bit closer.
So you can't just put AA5, you got to say Alive After 5,
clintonnc.com. And but on the website, as Darrell said, there's just tremendous amount of information about all the bands, the upcoming events. You can see artist videos of the bands. You can have links to go to their websites. You can also see a listing of all the sponsors on the website. You can actually go to the website and join to become a sponsor and pay online, which is ever popular with our sponsors. You can meet our committee members online. And also you can see about our food vendors and our concession vendors who are going to be there and what they're selling and offering. Just a wealth, and how to find us on this event day. Also, we use social media, primarily Facebook, to roll out events and the concert information. And we posted the season. I think it was Wednesday. When we posted it to Facebook the first time, and there were. I looked at the results last night. And of that initial post, there were 1,005 people that had viewed it, and there were, I think, if I remember correctly, there were 500 and some shares of that page. So as it hits the web and the Facebook things, it kind of organically grows. But I would encourage people to visit. Again, it's aliveafter5clintonnc.com, and there's links to other interest areas in the community. There's a link there to the Convention and Visitors Bureau, so if you're a visitor coming to town, you can find somewhere to stay if you need an overnight lodging. You can find out things about the History Museum and other local attractions.
So connectivity becomes not only the web page itself, but then the connectivity with Facebook, various other social media platforms. Right. Darrell, I'm kind of into some of that a little bit, but not as much as my grandchildren, trust me. But that becomes critically important to basically all of the millennials depend on that.
That's correct, and that's a tremendous impact on those people, because they not only in turn, when I share what Ray sends out on the website over Facebook, when I turn around and share it, then I see how many people start sharing my share, and then they go from there. And so the impact is tremendous, and it's growing even more and more. And so people do, particularly the millennials, do depend on the websites to look up things and see what's going on so they can better plan their life.
Yep. The important thing, I think, as you mentioned, Ray, too, that strikes me is that if a person wants to be a sponsor, and we're going to talk about the levels of sponsors after we come back from this break, but if they want to be a sponsor, they can actually do that online, whatever level that may be, and it's all taken care of. There's no need for Darrell or anybody, a committee member, to call them. It's all done, click, and it's over with, and everything else is free. I mean, they walk up and it's all there for them.
That's correct. I mean, like I say, you go online and register, you become a sponsor at the various sponsor levels, and we'll talk more about that. Absolutely. And we'll talk more about the sponsor perks and benefits.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is kind of hold that when we come back, because I don't want to go into a quick break, but one of the things I think folks want to know is a little bit about those sponsors, what the costs are, and can you be an exhibitor and a sponsor? Is that dual kind of thing? Can you do that? And how do you go about it? Ladies and gentlemen, we'll be back in a moment. We're talking about Live After 5. We're talking about excitement, something you will enjoy. Stay tuned. We'll be back in a moment.
You come out to replace a bad sensor, and that adds a 5-year commitment to my contract, and you don't tell me? Here's your sign.
Switch to the sign that's keeping homes secure and customers happy all over the area. Security from Star Communications. We pride ourselves on fair pricing and quick, friendly service every time.
Somebody trying to break into this place?
Security from Star Communications.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for being with us. We're coming up on our third segment here of We Should Know. Each and every week at 2:30 we air on Star Communications Channel 16, also simulcast on WCLN Radio, summation in the Sampson Weekly Newspaper. Point made, Sampson Weekly Newspaper is indeed a summation, so you might not get the full content simply because printable space. This is a 50-minute show, and we try to give you enough in-depth information that your questions are answered, that you don't have to call some of our guests to follow up. So we're going to try to feed you as much information as you can. We're talking about entertainment in the city of Clinton and Sampson County, and one of those entertainment pieces, one of many, Ray Jordan, that you're involved in, is Live After 5, and Darrell Jones is a committee member with Live After 5. I want to thank Darrell for being here. First time on the show. I really appreciate him stepping up doing this, and I know you do as well. But one of the things that strikes me is comment you made earlier. $100,000, I don't know, to me it's quite a lot of money, Darrell, I don't know, but it takes that to put on one of these shows. The county doesn't pay for it, the city doesn't pay for it, Ray Jordan doesn't pay for it, and I'm pretty sure Darrell Jones and J.W. Simmons doesn't pay for it.
That's true.
So it's got to come from something called sponsors.
That's correct.
Tell us about how a person, if they say, I want to be a sponsor, I want to get my company name, my name, whatever, how do they do that?
Well, one good thing is that how we promote and seek sponsors is several. One is that, if, again, we will relate back to our website. So someone listening or viewing today's show can go online at liveafter5clintonnc.com. You click on the Become a Sponsors page, and from there you can see the various sponsor levels and the perks that come for those different levels. And you can actually pay right there online. And then beyond that, we obviously call on our past sponsors, and we work with the chamber and some mailing lists that we have to create a mailing list where we mail to prospective businesses that have basically demonstrated community support, and we reach out to them. And then our committee members are out calling on people, cold calls. So it happens a lot of different ways. But talking about sponsor perks, you know, our sponsor levels, JW, Darrell, correct me if I'm wrong, they run from $250 per sponsor up to in excess of $5,000. So there's, I think there's 5 ranges, 250, 500, 1,000, 25, and 5. And we have sponsors that actually contribute more than 5,000. But at each level, there are different levels of perks. But at the basic level of $250, a person would be sponsoring all 5 events.
And you have a lot of those.
Oh yeah, I have a lot of 250 sponsors.
And they're very important. I'll go ahead and kind of grind that out. I know we had a board member one time that said we don't give them enough, but we need to do that.
I mean, a 250 sponsor, I mean, 4 250s, you got 1,000.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, but, you know, on the 250 level, and that's called a bronze sponsor, at that level, a person will get some of the perks, and you add to as you get in higher levels. But you know, they get 2 T-shirts, the season T-shirts that we create. They'll get tickets, 2 tickets, and a parking pass to each of the events. And at those events, we have sponsors receptions, so they get to come to a reception. They get food and beverages included in that. And then there's advertising and marketing opportunities that's online and things that we do in our newspapers depending on the level.
And their name is highlighted.
Yeah, depending on your level, where the placement is. Obviously, the higher you go, the more exposure. Our $5,000 or $2,500 up sponsors are listed on everything we do. So if we send out, once we solicit our sponsors and we send out letters and tickets and things that we do, those logos of those companies will be on everything we send out. And what else am I missing, Darrell, on sponsors?
Darrell, one of the things is I noticed on the stage, you know, when you're doing the announcement, on the stage, those sponsors' names, the 5,000, 2,500, are actually displayed on the stage. So as the people are looking at the band, if you own a company, it could be right there in front of them.
Yeah, these are considered our diamond and platinum sponsors. We have big banners up there on the stage, and I introduce those names on that banner so everybody can see it. Make sure they pay attention. I know they see it; they can't miss it. It's so big print.
Yeah.
But I make sure that we recognize those sponsors and appreciate what they do for us and people of Sampson County.
So Darrell, I mean, I'm listening to what Darrell said, and I think Darrell was making a good point. He's actually promoting that business. He becomes, to some degree, a commercial for that business.
That's correct.
Right. It's a tremendous opportunity for these businesses to provide their name out there so people can see that they are supporting not just the Alive After 5 event, but supporting the citizens of Clinton and Sampson County. And to me, that's tremendous in itself. And when I can see someone up there that says, I'm interested in providing this entertainment so people can really come out and enjoy and hopefully provide them some business along the way.
Ray, when you think about that, I want to just tag this back to you, is that I think most of the folks that I see this have a lot of these 2,500, 5,000, as you said, even more, they see that this is a way that they're saying to the public, I'm willing to do this for you to have a free night out and to bring your lawn chair, Darrell, and sit down and listen to this music and just enjoy yourself. It's kind of, you work with us and you know, help move our business forward, so therefore this is our kind of gift to you.
That's right. And you're exactly right, JW. It's a lot of our larger sponsors. It's a way to give back to the community in a manner that that's fun and it's a safe environment. And to touch back on what Darrell was mentioning about the recognition of the sponsors, one of the things also, you know, we have an electronic billboard that's at each event, and those sponsor names, it's a rolling billboard, and those sponsor names are flashed in front of other people. And you know, I had someone ask me, I know you'll appreciate this, JBS, one time. He said, "Well, I sometimes wonder if I'm getting any people coming in my door from that." I said, "Well, that's any advertising you do. You know, you always wonder that." But I said to the person, I said, you know, there was an ad I saw for years and years and years. I never tried. And one day I was just sitting there. I walked in a store and I picked it up and tried it. So that, you know, being in front of people and them seeing your name and, you know, that thing. But I think for our sponsors, I'd say if you looked at across the board of our sponsors, the primary thing they would say is the satisfaction that they receive, personal satisfaction they receive from supporting the community.
Darrell, would you say by being a sponsor that maybe if you phrased it, you could say Alive After 5 is a good place to do business?
I would say that's a very good comment to be had out there. The businesses, you know, they provide a product to the citizens that come in and get that product, but in turn, these businesses provide this entertainment to the people that have allowed them to sell them that product. So as it is, the event itself is a tremendous marketing tool for the business of Clinton and Sampson County, and we want more. We want more. And I'd be willing to tell you right now that if a business anywhere in the county wants to participate and donate, if they want to call Ray and tell them, bring me an application, I will hand deliver them an application anywhere in the county.
That's strong right there, Ray Jordan. You hear that?
That's right.
I mean, that's how dedicated I am to it.
Ray's committed.
I'm dedicated to it because it's a tremendous event.
Yeah.
I mean, it's such a good event, and as Ray said, it's kid-friendly. We haven't had any instances that I know of since I've been participating there. And at the end of the night, you've got a feeling of satisfaction over it. This was a great show, and it really, really served the people of Clinton and Sampson County.
Fortunate to have you on the committee. I want to spin back to you a bit and kind of zero back in on the sponsors. If a person, as Darrell just said, does have a question, he can go and talk to them, or you can talk to them. They can reach you by phone. Everybody knows how to call the Civic Center and reach you by phone. Is there a need for folks to look at larger contributions that, say, for example, have been doing $250 or $500, and maybe this is the year they've had a good year, and it's like, well, I'm going to add a little bit to that. The point I'm getting to here, is this a tax-deductible contribution?
It is. The donations to Alive After 5 are made to a 501c3. So there is considered a charitable donation, and it's allowable. The deductions are as allowable based on how you file your taxes. You know, so but it is a 501c3, and folks can take the deduction as they work with their accountants.
So I don't really know, but I think maybe people are probably, maybe I'm a little bit hesitant, but one of the things that struck me as Darrell was talking also is that we have exhibitors, and I guess exhibitors can be sponsors, but we have exhibitors that are actually from outside the county. One of them that's been a regular exhibitor is Duplin Wine.
Yes,
exactly, and that goes back, and that's one thing I did not mention as far as our sponsor levels. The one thing that we're often asked is, can I come and set up a booth? Well, the answer to that is yes and no. We do allow exhibitors for Live After 5, but those exhibitors are people that are sponsors of Live After 5. Mm-hmm. So beginning at the $500 level and up, you can participate as an exhibitor. Now, just to clarify, at $500, that sponsor level, I think silver sponsor level, those sponsors would be able to choose any single event in the season at which they could set up a booth and have it as an exhibit space to market their products and goods. Sponsors that are $1,000 and up, this season will have the opportunity to participate as an exhibitor at all 5 events. And as we talk about the bands, we're going to talk about the 5th event and why a 5th event was added this year.
And I want to, as we go to break, I want to mention a word, and when we come back, I'll get Darrell or both of you to follow up on it. I find it enjoyable every year to see how it falls out, and that word is koozie. It's always, it's not a drama, but it always plays out interestingly because it kind of comes down to first come, first serve.
True.
But when we come back from break, we'll start with the word koozie and kind of get into that a bit. But I know that in looking at it in past years, a lot of folks tell me they get a huge benefit out of that because it's something folks can take home with them and actually use. You know, they go to the beach with it and they see it in the cooler or whatever, but it's close by, and we'll be back and talk about that. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We're coming up on our last segment, and we're going to be talking about the bands in Live After 5 and talk about the word koozie. Would you like to have a koozie? Do you need a koozie? We'll be back in a moment.
To get the most out of your electronic devices, you need a strong internet connection and a protected home Wi-Fi network. You need high-speed internet from Star. Star has the fastest, most affordable high-speed internet service available for all your devices. We have no long-term contracts or high-pressure sales. Our service speaks for itself, and switching is hassle-free. We take care of everything with free installation from a local company. High-speed internet from Star. Internet at the speed of life.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Coming up on the last segment, We Should Know. Just want to remind you, reach us at weshouldknowedu@gmail.com every Tuesday at 2:30 on Star Communications Channel 16. Tuesday and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. You can pick us up. You might have to, right after the news, you can come in and get some real heavy content about some information and things that's happening right in your community. We're talking today about a wonderful event, Live After 5. A lot of people know about it. Darrell, sometimes I'm just not sure we even really need to worry about marketing because people talk about it enough, but you still got to get out and do things. When we went off, we were talking about the word koozie. Koozies are everywhere at Live After 5, and anybody can be part of that, isn't it not right?
Correct. Yeah, that's another sponsorship opportunity for at each event. We have a koozie sponsor that night, and so basically what we do is that the sponsor that sponsors a koozie for that particular event, their logo is on one side of the koozie and Live After 5 is on the other, and we distribute those out at the different locations throughout the night. And at the end of the event, if there are koozies left over, we give them to use in their business to customers as they go out throughout the year.
And we're talking several hundred.
Oh yeah.
Basically,
thousands.
Business cards is what it amounts to.
Right.
It's business cards with a drink in it.
Well, I'll tell you something interesting. I was at the beach. I had left after Live After 5, and there happened to be about probably 50 koozies in a box that were left over one night. Mm-hmm. And a friend of mine owns a bar. He walked out and was getting something out of the truck and saw them. He said, "I want those to put in my business." So the next time I walked in, he was using them in his bar, and it was advertising Live After 5 in Clinton, and they company from right here in town. So that was pretty.
Well, we might get some traffic from that right there.
That's very true.
Look at it positive. Let's talk about bands. I want to get, because we're on the last segment, I want to make sure we get these in. unbelievable lineup this year. And if I'm looking at this right, I'm looking at 5 bands, right?
That's correct. And so I'm going to talk about the first 2, and Darrell's going to hit the second 2. And then we're going to talk about the last one, which is going to be an added special event.
And this thing starts May 21st.
May 21st, not
Right around
far
the corner.
away. Yeah, this year's lineup is kind of a who's who of our regional bands, and we're starting out this year with what I would consider to be a favorite of many people from Sampson County, and especially eastern North Carolina, is when we bring to the stage Jim Quick and Coastline.
So he hadn't retired.
He is not retired. Jim Quick will be with us on Thursday, May 21st. And now his band members on stage have changed, but the show is intact, and it's a really good show, and he puts on a high energy show. And JW last year he presented, and it happened to be one of those nights that we had to go inside. We had it because it was storming, and we had more people at that event that night. And I mean, the Civic Center was busting at the seams with people coming out to see Jim Quick and Coastline. So that's the first one.
He is the show and has been the show, so that name carries a big weight.
And so leading into June, on Thursday, June 18th, is our second concert of the season, and we'll present a band that this will be their first appearance in the Live After 5 series, and the band is called the Cat 5 Band. Now, the Cat 5 Band is, a lot of beach bands are made up of, they started out with another band, and you've got spin-off groups, but this is kind of what that is. But Cat 5 is made up of 5 guys, and they've played with the Band of Oz, they've played with the Embers, they've played with Jim Quick and Coastline. Similar type music as most of these bands are playing variety and beach and top 40. They play a little bit of country, so they're good variety bands.
First time on stage here.
First time on stage in Sampson County will be the Cat 5 on June 18th.
And Thursday, August 20th will be our third event. The Spare Change will be appearing there. And I will say that a lot of these bands that we select to appear before our people in Clinton and Sampson County are suggestions based on the website and suggestions that we receive at the events themselves from through the committee members. So I just want to put a plug in for the website. If you got a band you want to see, go to the website and make a recommendation.
Spare Change is a regular too, and haven't they been here 2 or 3?
Spare Change has been here before. They play a lot of different varieties of music: rock, country, rap. Current top 40 hit. Great band, and everybody loves them. The entertainers come in on Thursday, September 17th, is our 4th event.
And that's their first appearance.
Yeah, that's their first appearance, and that's been a request for a couple years, and we were finally able to get them scheduled, because just because you say we want them don't mean we can get them when we need them.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was an issue that we've been having in the past, but they're well known throughout the Carolinas, and they are a high energy, and they just put on a really tremendous show.
The Friday that you're fixing to talk about, that's interesting, because when we hit that 5th Friday, that's going to be an interesting time with October and maybe a little bit of chill in there. I don't know. It seems like it's hard to predict the weather. But
So JW, just to recap, we're going to start out the season with the Jim Quick and Coastline on May 21st. Mm-hmm. June 18th, we're having the Cat 5 Band. August 20th is Spare Change. The entertainers on September 17th. Now, just for everybody listening out there, remember, those are Thursday nights.
Mm-hmm. Straight through.
We're changing gears in October. Mm-hmm. We're going to Friday, October 9th.
Sun's a different place in the sky.
And it's sun's at a different place in the sky, and the location will be different. Now, one thing we haven't mentioned is where are the concerts? Mm-hmm. All the Live After 5 concerts are held at the Clinton City Market on Lisbon Street in Clinton.
Mm-hmm. Right down from City Hall.
Right down from City Hall. So the first 4 events that's where they will occur. There's no rain. If it rains or shines, those events are going on. We were lucky last year. We moved one inside because the building was available, but that's typically not. It would be
very rare.
Rare. It would be rain or shine. But something unique is coming to Sampson County on Friday, October 9th. And this year the committee chose to add a 5th event, and this is going to be the one we're talking about.
More bang for your buck if you're a sponsor.
Exactly, more bang for your
Very
buck.
much so.
And but this event's going to be held in conjunction with a major event that is coming to Sampson County. The event is called the Cycle NC Mountains to Coast Tour, Bike Tour. And this event came through Sampson County in 2016, and this is an event where for 2020, approximately 1,400 bicyclists from across the state and the country will begin their Mountains to Coast tour in Sparta, North Carolina, and they will travel by bicycle all the way to Sampson County, and their event will actually conclude in Topsail Beach, Surf City. So in support of that event, and in recognition of bringing all these visitors to our county and having the opportunity for our visitors to interact with our local citizens and our residents, we decided to host the last concert of the season on Friday, October 9th. This event will feature a band that has been a part of Alive After 5 since the very first season. It's one that will need no introduction when they walk on stage, and it's one that's in my notes I always put back by popular demand. Yep. And that will be the Band of Oz. Absolutely. So that'll be a tremendous turnout for us, and be a huge economic boon for the community. These bicyclists, they will actually, as they travel across the state, they'll come to us from just north of Smithfield. So they'll travel by bike down here. They will overnight camp. They'll be staying in our lodging, in our motels and bed and breakfast. There'll probably be 600 or 700 of them camping in tents at the Expo Center. And as part of this event, our sponsors will be able to set up, if you're an Alive After 5 sponsor this year at $500,000 and up, you will have the opportunity to be an exhibitor at no additional fee at the Cycle NC Mountains to Coast Tour at the Expo Center. But with that, there'll be a lot more vendors and exhibitors added too, and you'll hear about that from the Convention and Visitors Bureau in the coming weeks. And as this event happens, this will be a huge event for our community. And last time they came through, it was on the heels of Hurricane Matthew.
Yeah, I remember that very well, 2016.
Yeah,
but it was exciting because you had people from all over the United States.
Exactly.
This is not just a North Carolina thing.
Right.
These folks come in, and it's a huge financial boost in the sense that they are knowing that wherever they go, they're going to be spending money.
That's
for the sponsors, Darrell, I think one of your points is that you talk about what they get. This is just an added, no cost to them, same sponsorship, but this is going to be an added event that it should be extremely beneficial.
Well, that's what you have to look at as a business owner, as to how far your name can get out. Mm-hmm. And you want to get out just as far as you can, and that means out of Clinton, out of Sampson County, mm-hmm. and even out of North Carolina. Mm-hmm. So the further you can put your name out there, your business and what you can do, the better off you are as a business.
And that almost sounds like a whole show itself, just talking about that Mountain to Sea bike event.
Oh, it is. I mean, you take for our Alive After 5 sponsors, by being an Alive After 5 sponsor, let's just say $1,000 sponsor, you're getting to participate as an exhibitor at 5 events, one of them being this. And I would dare say that the single exhibitor participation fee for the Cycle NC event as an addition to this will mm-hmm. probably equal some of those numbers. That you will be getting a huge discount to be a sponsor through Alive After 5 and then participate at this event.
So the thing I'm thinking then, Darrell, if you're out there and you're not already, or you hadn't been a sponsor and you're just listening to this may be the year that you want to really try it out and see what you think.
Right.
That's very true. This Cycle NC is coming. It's going to be a huge event for the area. I mean, like Ray says, 1,400 cyclists. That doesn't include their support staff.
And families.
Okay, so you look at probably 2,000 plus people coming from out of the Clinton, Sampson County area to visit with us. And so the time to sponsor, if you think about getting into it, is this year for this event.
Give us that website address again.
It's liveafter5clintonnc.com, and JW, again, this is the 10th anniversary season, And on behalf of the entire committee, Darrell and I would like to thank all the sponsors in the past, and thank you for having us on the show today.
Absolutely. Thank both of you for being here, and hope to have you back as things come up at the Civic Center and things that both you guys are involved in, because I know you're heavily involved in the community, and we'll continue to air that for you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being with us today. Hope you picked up on some information that will help you. Hope you get involved in some of these events, and maybe it'll enrich and excite your life about what's happening right here in Sampson County for your benefit. We'll see you next week.
Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of We Should Know with host J.W. Simmons. If you have a question, comment, or suggestion regarding this or any episode, please send your emails to weshouldknowedu@gmail.com. And remember to tune in every Tuesday at 2:30 for another informative episode of We Should Know.